Today has been the most hectic day, well, one of the most hectic days ever. I mean, to start off with, we've only just finished now, and it is 8:30. We've got ourselves a little kebab, which is really nice. So what we're going to do is we're just going to open that up because this is the second thing we've eaten all day, and it has, been about 12 and a half hours. Wow, that's messy. Is this going to be absolutely horrendous to eat in the car? We'll find out. This is already getting chaotic. Okay, bear with me right now because we're going to have to just figure this out. I don't know what's going on here. There's so much sauce everywhere. Whatever. Anyways, we're just going to take a bite right now because I think we've earned it. We're going to have to treat ourselves a little bit. Yeah, today, absolutely chockers. Let's go through what we did. Sorry, we're going to have to take another bite of this because I can't think. It's going everywhere. This is one of the messiest kebabs I've ever eaten. I feel like I'm eating foil as well. Whatever. All right, let's get out of here. So we started off the day, we were on the ward and we had to round on our patients about 7:30, I think we came in to round on everyone. Now, I'm not usually on the ward, so we were filling in for each other just because it's the Christmas roster and there's reduced elective surgery and everything over the Christmas break. So we just split the roster around so that everyone had like a little bit of time off, which was nice. What happened today was we came onto the ward. I didn't really know that many patients because I'm usually on a non-clinical role at the moment. Came in to help out, and then we had to read up on all these patients. They're all quite complex at the moment, which is a bit odd. Not too many straightforward ones. So that was interesting, just getting my head around that. We saw all the patients. We had about 10 or 12 to see, which is a bit busier than we would have liked for this rotation at this time of the year, but is what it is. And then we got some coffee, which was nice. I had to check that a patient was consented for an operation. And then we just got started on the jobs of the day. Now, this would have been absolutely fine. There was 3 of us around, 2 people. A bit of jobs that came up. But to throw a spanner into the works, I was asked to hold the phone, and wow, that's an unbelievable sunset. That's incredible. It's just like bright orange. It's like so nice. We held the phone for the whole day. I reckon we got about 30 to 40 calls from people today. It was insane. And I don't know, things just pop up, just being there, holding the phone. So what I mean when I'm holding the phone, that's the registrar on call. I held the phone because the registrar was scrubbed in theatre, had to take the phone calls, the referrals from other units who wanted to ask questions from that were related to our specialty. I'm on urology at the moment, so I was just answering those questions. There was people in ED who we needed to accept under our bed card because they had urological issues. They get referred to me, and then I run it past the boss to make sure we're happy to take, because I'm only still a junior doctor and I'm not technically on call. That's not my role, but when you want to level up, you do things of a senior nature, so to gather experience and to get familiarity with that role. And I think everyone does a little bit of that in their training. It'd be weird not to do it and just get thrown into that role and be expected to do all that stuff. So taking these baby steps when you're in a supported environment is super, super important. So we did that. There was 2 people who we had to admit. We went down, saw them, did their admission notes, organised their plan, ran it by the boss, was happy with it, which was good. There was 2 other people who had small stones that I think they could have passed, so They just stayed in the emergency part, which is like the short stay. That's like the prolonged, like sort of like called like the extended observation unit. And essentially that's where people have like a diagnosis, they're just waiting on stuff to happen or not happen, and usually they go to that space for a bit of time. Usually it might be, you know, waiting for another blood test, like maybe it's a second troponin, that's the first one was fine and their chest pain's resolved or whatever. Or maybe they just need some monitoring for like fluids or some medication for migraines or whatever it is. Like there's a whole bunch of reasons people can go to the short stay unit. Essentially this guy's, there was two people. So they can always be referred back to us and need to come in for an actual admission. But we don't want to take everyone into hospital just because we can, and you know, often we can't because there's actually like not a lot of space in the hospital. So yeah, we sent them there, and what else did we do? Well, we're trying to organise a whole bunch of scans. I think my first job of the day was to protocol 5 scans. Now, protocoling scans, if you haven't heard of that before, is essentially when, not all hospitals do it, by the way, but our hospital does. You order a scan and then you essentially have to run it past the radiology registrar to get it approved. And this ensures that the right scans are ordered for the right things. And I think it actually gives you better confidence with, like, you know, thinking about what scan you want, what's it going to show, and how that's going to change your management. And, you know, you actually get good practice at selling the story of the patient and explaining it in the right amount of detail, knowing what to say, when to say it, and yeah, just explaining to someone else what's going on. I think that by its nature is only going to help you in the long run. So yeah, that's the main thing that we had to do. Order those 5 scans, get them all approved, which was a bit of a mission, especially for patients that I didn't know that well. And yeah, then we had to run around the hospital doing a whole bunch of other things. To the bookings department, these forms are for people who are getting operations in the future. They might be people I've seen in clinic, or people other people seen in clinic, or you know, they might be like an inpatient, so a person in hospital at the moment who is currently stable, or they've had part 1 of their operation and they need part 2 in about 4 weeks' time. Whatever it is, they get triaged and everything by the elective bookings department, and then they get booked in for an operation. So yeah, that's how that works. In the meantime, while we were just taking calls left, right and centre, calling people back, giving some phone advice, heaps and heaps of stuff was going on. We had lunch, which was nice. We have a Friday lunch supplied by like the Junior Doctors Society. We pay for the lunch and then they organise a lunch to be brought to us. Today was burgers actually, so I had a chicken burger. That was actually the first bit of food I ate. We had coffee in the interim, and did actually, you know, have some random biscuits, but yeah, you just find food around the hospital, to be honest. Like, there's been times where I've just found toast. Well, I haven't found toast, like I've made toast myself. Where are you gonna go? Let's go. Yeah, you just find bread, find like a little bit of jam, a little bit of Vegemite, toast that up. There's not even a toaster, you just put it in a sandwich press and then you like do that from there. Jeez, all this talk about food's making me hungry. I need some more. Well, you forget how hungry you get. That's gross. You forget how hungry you get just like running around, like constantly like stimulated by information the whole time, bouncing from one job to the next job. So yeah, it can be a bit busy, but make sure you have a break in those days. Like, sometimes you just lose your overall brain function and thinking power if you're just non-stop, and then you need to have spikes of energy. So maybe there's a downtime, or maybe you just have a forced downtime. You're like, all right, 2 o'clock, whatever it is, unless I'm in like a Met Call or a Code Blue, I'm getting coffee at this time, or I'm going for a walk downstairs outside. I'm going to sit for 5 minutes and then I'm going to come back and do whatever else I need to do. Sometimes you just need to do that. If you've been going flat out that whole day, just say, all right, I'm doing it. Whatever job it is, whether I'm in clinic, whatever it is, there's no time apart from an emergency like code, or maybe you're, in an operation. People need breaks, I was just chatting to one of the bosses today, and like they do like this big operation every now and then when you essentially might be scrubbed for about 8 hours during this operation. Now, in that time, people need to sub in and out. They need to have breaks. And if you are doing such an intense procedure for that long, no doubt about it, you'll need to like go to the bathroom. You'll need to have a coffee. You'll need to, just sub out and have a quick drink of water or something. Whatever it is, you might need to break at some stage. Now, in that time, someone actually stays scrubbed, and then you actually unscrub, go do your thing, and then come back, re-scrub, and continue the case. And then the other person might take a break for a little bit. But even in a long operation, people need breaks. So don't be ashamed, make the break, make the time, and look after yourself. Don't just run yourself into the ground the whole time. Like, you will accumulate job after job after job. And sometimes you just need to say like, no, like you can only take on so much and do so much at a time. So let stuff go through to the keeper, ask people for help, especially when you're getting a bit, busy and overworked and overwhelmed. Continue this conversation upstairs. We can take a break from watching New Girl to come and look at this outrageous sunset. Look at this. I mean, busy day into this. How good is that? I mean, sometimes it's just the little things. Can we just appreciate this? I mean, this does not happen every day. Just gotta stop and enjoy it for a bit. It's a bit like medicine. Like, I mean, you can have all this stuff that goes on constantly, every day. You just bounce between job and job and job, and sometimes you just like actually need to like look back and think, well, like, am I actually enjoying this? Am I doing what I want to do? Am I actually heading in the direction that I want to head in? If you're not, well, think about it, and then think about it some more, and then after you've done that, think about it some more and talk to someone else. And if you're then sure, then keep going in that direction. But if you're not, then maybe switch it up a bit. Figure out what you want to do, because this is what it's all about, Sunsets, obviously, and tea, and I don't know, what else? Whatever else you like. I think it's time we make a cup of tea. The day was actually okay, and like we got to do a lot of stuff. It was really busy, really fun, but I think it's at those times where you actually learn like the most, and you find out how much you know, how much you don't know, how well you can cope under pressure, and essentially just get through the day. You learn to prioritize what needs to be done, what doesn't need to be done, and you get to think on your feet. And actually, I think you just become an overall better doctor, which is nice. And yeah, you got everyone to support you along the way, which is always the best place to like develop and become a bit better as a doctor. We're actually on the cover shift for tomorrow as well, which is a little bit frustrating, but it happens. You have to do a bit of work sometimes. So that cover shift will be 8 till 8:30. We'll be covering all the specialty surgery units. It'll be a busy day, much busier than today, I think, but slightly more reactive, just, going through pages. Yeah, we'll round on a few different patients, which is good. So yeah, that'll be the plan for tomorrow. Hopefully it's okay and there's not too many sick patients, but we'll see what it is and just deal with it. I guess the other thing, like the other weird thing, like the payslip video that I made on TikTok, like crazily like blew up. Only thing I was meant to do was just show people how much you get paid, because I wanted to know how much doctors get paid. And then like when I was an intern, or when I was a medical student, or when I was thinking about becoming a doctor, and like trying to work it all out. So yeah, that's all that was for. But yeah, the real interesting part is like how many people like comment about it not being that much, which yeah, sure, it's not that much, but there's a lot of people who start off slow, and then you got to put in your credits or put in your hard work, and then you actually, get rewarded later on, which is not the worst thing in the world. But I guess the main thing is it's just not that big of a motivator. Sure, it's like fun to get paid for enjoying what you do, but like, I mean, if I really wanted to like make money and then that's it, like that was the only motivating factor, then doing medicine is just not the right answer. There's way too much work and time commitment involved to make the money that you make from it. Sure, you get rewarded at the end. That's tea boiling, by the way. Sure, you get rewarded for it at the end, but there's so much hard work along the way. Like, why would I like subject myself to that if I just wanted to get money? So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. People comment like, oh, you don't earn that much, or like, I didn't even go to uni and I still got paid as much as a doctor gets paid. And it's like, well, sure. Like, I don't really mind. Like, I mean, the money for medicine is like, it's not the reason I got into it in the first place. There's so many other different reasons. Like, it's just a field which, provides so much like learning opportunity, growth, development. I mean, I just find it like so mentally stimulating and enjoyable. Like, there's so much going on all the time. There's so much like developments in the field, and to be trapped in like an area where there's like a cap to how much you can know, learn and grow would just be like, I don't know, I'd hate that. So in medicine, there's always new stuff, there's always like challenges and new things coming about, developing new people, new patients, new ways of thinking and teaching and doing procedures, and constant innovation. One of the main reasons I got into it is, sure, yeah, you get to help people and it's nice to feel like you're helping someone, but that's not the main reason. It's all about like, solving problems and getting to the bottom of things and working out the simplest way to teach things or to help people or to do things and to optimize things. So working out that in the most efficient way for the right person, I think, is a much better reason to do healthcare. And yeah, sure, you get reimbursed for money, with money along the way. And sometimes it's good money, sometimes it's not so good money when you start out, but I don't know, it is what it is. I'm not too fast. I think I'm actually, earning okay money, but yeah, it is a bit of work, but I enjoy doing it. So I don't really see it a lot of the time as, oh, I have to go to work, I have to do this, I go home, then I do what I want. And sure, there's like, a bit of paperwork or a bit of like admin-y stuff that I'm not too keen on, but for the most part, I'm just doing what I enjoy, which is what you want, I guess. I mean, I couldn't think of anything better to do. And if it brings secondary gains to other people, for example, it might help someone, with their symptoms, or you get someone a diagnosis for a condition that they weren't sure about, or you fix their pain from with an operation or something like that. There's a lot of different things where you can bring benefit to people. But yeah, doing medicine for the money is an interesting reason to do it. I mean, it takes a lot of work to do. I think if you just wanted money, there's a whole bunch of other stuff out there that would probably be better suited to you. But yeah, if you want to do it for the money, then sure. There is like an element of like job security, and you know, like there's always going to be a need for doctors, and it is one of those fields where people think, oh, I did well at school, so I should go into it. And I sort of was in that boat, but there was a lot more to it along the way. Was in that path with similar people. That was just a stepping stone rather than the main factor. So yeah, we'll get to bed shortly. I mean, it's like, what is it? It's like 10 o'clock. I've got to start in 10 hours, so I should probably get some rest and chill out before my next 12.5-hour shift tomorrow. Yeah, gonna need to have some energy to get through that one, but take some time to figure out what you're doing medicine for and why you want to do it, and if it's actually the reasons that you thought you were doing it for. If it's not, then, you know, reconsider and have a little think about everything like that. But yeah, I think the main takeaway from this is like, you know, a lot of the time we're having like a massive day, a busy day with heaps and heaps of stuff going on. Reflect at the end of it, how was your ability to manage under that pressure? Were you able to delegate tasks? Were you able to solve problems on your feet? Or do you need to get a bit better at that? Do you get flustered when there's a lot of things going on, or are you able to accumulate jobs, sift through the ones that need to be done right now, and then do the ones that don't need to be done like urgently a little bit later on? And you learn how to triage and prioritize jobs. I think that's like a massive skill that you learn as a junior doctor. That's like super helpful in just like real life. Like there's a lot of things that you don't need to be rushed into, and you can just like let sit tight and, you know, marinate for a little bit, and then you can make an actual decision later on. Whereas sometimes you just need to crack on and get to stuff. Anyways, we're gonna enjoy this nice cup of tea, get some rest, and see you all tomorrow. Bye.